Welcome back to another episode of Coach's Corners. I'm Coach Dave McDonough. Today's episode is one that's very, very dear to my heart here. And this gentleman, Randall Lawlor, say the right name. Lawlor, excuse my enunciation, guys, has been with us at Champs Boxing for about 7 years now?
Probably.
Okay, so Randall came to us diagnosed with Parkinson's disease and was our first gentleman to be in our Parkinson program. I'm Coach Dave. Welcome back to Coach's Corner. Come on. So, Randall, I welcome you today. Thank you for taking your time out and coming out here today to be with us. Let's kind of jump into what led you to us.
Well, roughly 8 years ago, I was diagnosed with Parkinson's. My wife, Lisa, did some research, and she found a boxing course that was supposed to help with Parkinson's, but it was just too expensive and too far away to go to. And the gym that held it, you needed to buy a membership to the gym and buy into the class. And we just couldn't afford it. So I started looking around. Lisa and I started looking around, and we found Champs. And I talked to AJ a few times, and he said to come down, and he's trying to figure something out. So he talked to the trainers, and he talked to Simon originally, and I started working with Simon a few days a week, and then Simon had to go back to Canada, and he set me up with you, and we've been there for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, I didn't realize you worked with Simon right away that much in the beginning. So our Parkinson program, like Randall was saying, evolved around a lot of different things. For people out there who don't know, there's been a correlation of boxing assisting with people who have Parkinson's disease. A group called Rocksteady Boxing started a program, I don't know exactly how many years ago, but they had a documentary on on HBO, talking about how boxing training, movement help people with Parkinson's. So they started a national program where you could be accredited as a trainer to help out people with Parkinson's disease. I kind of felt, and we'll get into you, when I spoke with AJ at Champs, that this is not something we want to charge to the public with. We did not want to put it out there as a fee or a gym membership. This is something that we wanted to do as a gym to help people in our community because, we've both had situations in our families with it, and we wanted to kind of give back. And we knew people, might have been struggling out there for whether they were working or not, but we don't charge at Champs for our Parkinson's class. It is open to anybody. Usually it's Sundays at 9, 10 o'clock. We've been offbeat a little bit in the last couple of weeks, but we'll be back on it. So let's kind of talk about you, Randall. When you came in, you were still, riding, very, very active, and you're still very active today. Tell everybody, look, what your take on this? When you first came in, what was your expectation?
I never boxed before. I put on boxing gloves at home and beat my brothers up, but we never went to an actual boxing gym. I never went to a gym before, so I didn't know what to expect. And Simon was really good. He kind of just led me. Went over the whole basics, started from scratch, and
fundamentals,
and it worked. And I think it worked well because he was very patient with me. And at the time, I was only on a little bit of medicine, so I was still having freezing episodes where my left arm or left foot wouldn't move while they should. Right. And Simon was very patient with me. He met with me a couple days a week, at night after work, and I think when he had to leave, there was some sort of a little bit of gap before we met up, and it was making me kind of nervous that I was going to lose this because I feel like it was really starting to help me. Right. Felt like the repetitiveness of it really kept me from progressing too far. Right. And here it is, almost 9 years later, 9 years later, and I just went to my neurologist, and the progression is very slow, and it's been very, it's been very steady. I've been been feeling really good lately.
Yeah, well, that's great to hear. And then, look, for people to understand Randall's training, we really didn't tailor it to it. We kind of threw Randall in as a boxer, not as somebody who had Parkinson's disease. So he was taught, fundamentally how to box by our buddy from Montreal, Simon LeVay. Shout out to him. And by the time he had come over and we had kind of started training, my idea was I'm not going to give him any special treatment. I mean, okay, we did, maybe notch it down here and there, but you worked as a fighter.
There'd be like we would meet on Sundays or Saturdays.
Yeah.
The next day I'd go home. I'd wake up. I'd be sore.
Yeah.
My hands would hurt. My bone. I'd just be sore from the workout. And yeah, you didn't take it easy on me. You never took it easy on me.
No, I mean, I don't think that's the look. But you're able to answer the call. So like, there's a difference there. Like we sat down, we walked through certain things to see where you were at. You were active, and you're still active right now. You ride. You're out there walking. You're doing active stuff. You're able to lift a little bit. Like everybody else, you had little pains, your shoulders, like everybody else. But basically, your workout for 45 minutes to an hour was, with the exception of jumping rope, we boxed, we did some conditioning, we did some lifting, some motor skill stuff. So, when you first came in, you didn't expect. Let me rephrase this. Were you expecting to be trained like this?
No. I was expecting it to be more rudimentary, more easygoing, not so much just I felt like I was pretty much just thrown in.
Yeah.
And I prefer to be treated like everybody else, and I felt like I was treated like everybody else at the time. There was nothing special about me. I mean, if Simon did take it or you take it easy on me, I didn't notice.
Yeah.
But I don't think you guys did, especially you.
No, I mean, come on, look. But we go back to the same thing, Randall. Boxing is not easy for anybody, let alone people that are dealing with, some physical issues. Training someone in boxing, it takes time for them to pick up. You picked up pretty quick. I mean, considering you were able, and you're still able, not were, but still, you're throwing combinations. You're moving around in the ring. You're doing bag work. You're hitting the speed bag. You're hitting the double end bag. All of these tasks are not easy tasks. Now, when you train, let's go back to this. You're on checkups with your doctors back and forth. Now, when you first came into us, you were already seeing your doctors, your group of everything else like that. Tell us about the first time you went back to the doctor after you told him you were boxing.
She said, "Don't get hit in the head."
Yeah, well.
But the first time she was happy. The progression was, there was very little progression. It was only 6 months. And every time I go back, she encouraged me to go box more. Right. She knows how much it's been helpful to me. I see a chiropractor once a week. He encouraged me to go more. It's also boosted my confidence. Yeah. Because Parkinson's is a sucky disease, and boxing makes me feel more confident that I can carry myself. And even when I'm home, I still do some of the footwork to keep my balance and so I don't stumble too much. So it's been like a huge part of my life since I've been going there. Yeah,
I'm sure, when you were first diagnosed, walk us through that, because, and I'm not going to go into it, you and I know I have a history with my family of some neurological disease stuff. I know it's a trying thing, and look, you're a young man with a family, children, and everything else. What were your thoughts in the beginning?
I was 42 when I was diagnosed, roughly 42, and we knew something was wrong because my arm was shaking and I was just moving slower, and I felt something was wrong. So I started seeing a chiropractor because we thought maybe it was a pinched nerve in the neck or something, and that was affecting my arm. And after a few weeks of treatment, he realized it wasn't getting any better, so he encouraged me to go see a neurologist. So my mom is a retired nurse. She did some research and she found a really good neurologist at Yale, but we had to wait a few months to see him. So we went down there. My wife and I went down there. We saw him and his fellow,
Right.
who is now my main doctor. He has since retired, and they did a test, and they both did the test separately. They both came to the same conclusion, that was Parkinson's, and that was devastating. I'm 42. I'm pretty active, and there's no history of Parkinson's in my family that we know of. So
Right.
It's
out of the blue.
It's out of the blue.
It's out of the blue.
And it's horrible. And then my wife, my wife Lisa again did some research, and she found the Rocksteady boxing course, and we thought it was worth a try.
Yeah.
And I was willing to try almost anything to keep it from progressing too fast. And but like I said, it was just too expensive and too far away. So AJ's been really, when I called him, he's like, we don't offer that course, but someone might be able to work with you. So we went down and had some meetings.
Yeah.
But it's been, and then it's affected everybody in my family. Everybody, my friends, my family, everybody has been affected by this disease.
And is that because the support they're trying to give you and your family, or is it?
Well, I think there's I think it's the support. I think it's the fact that they know I can't do as much as I used to, so they have like my wife has to do certain things now that I can't do, and my son has really stepped up. He ran a fundraiser for Parkinson's a few years ago with your help.
Yeah, I mean, it was a couple of years that he did it in a row.
Yeah.
That Griffin was raising money for that, and which is look, the awareness, but to talk about the effect, and look, I understand that because of going through a similar situation with my family and my wife at the time. It is something that affects everybody else. But, the main part is you were a man out there supporting your family, active job, doing everything that people do, and now you get thrown this friggin' curveball, which
Right.
is... But the flip side of it is, some people it takes an effect differently mentally and physically, but you did not skip a beat. You jumped right. You and Lisa jumped right in the pool and said, look, we want to find something to see what we can do to offset this.
Well, my chiropractor, Russell Karam, he told me when I went back to him, he said that, and it's kind of stuck with me, you have two choices. As he saw it, I had two choices. Either I can crawl in a hole and let the disease ruin my life,
Yeah.
or I can lead my life as best I can with the disease. So I did crawl in a hole for a little while.
Yeah, I think look, and I could only, I've seen it, so I could kind of speak from a little experience, not personally. I think that's something that's natural right away, that's going to happen, that you have to, deal with what's going on eventually and find a way to deal with it on your own. But, you're a smart guy, you're an active guy. You found a way to kind of maneuver out of that.
Yeah. Well, I decided to do the best I can with what I have.
I mean,
So.
and look, you have a great support group.
Mm-hmm.
Your brothers are local, right? Lisa, I mean, friends are there to, support you. But you've been with us now, training with us. What else do you think that, besides the training, that has helped you? I mean, if you were to speak for people and say, look, this is what I'm doing, this has worked for me, what do you think it is?
I think it's the confidence that boxing brings to you. When I go there and we have a good workout,
Yeah.
and I leave, I'm tired, I'm sweaty, and I feel like if I go there, you're very encouraging. You drive me hard to do better each time, and I feel like I succeed.
But you have done. See, the difference is this goes back to us not treating anybody any different, right? Look, everything's a limitation, right? So if you couldn't do it, how am I not going to push you? It's one thing if you can't. If you say, look, I'm hurt, I can't do this, physically, whatever it is, okay, then we'll adjust and we'll train. But this is unique. I've seen other classes with people in Parkinson's. Listen, I I think anybody that's training people or teaching or working with people with Parkinson is doing a great job. I'm not going to critique what they do in a class. We do it a little differently. I want that realistic approach to what I'm doing, and I want you to feel the same way. I don't want you to feel like I'm sugarcoating your training any way at all when you come in there. But the fact of the matter is that you, and if we had video, we could put video up of you working out. It's just, you're able to do it. And you are, like, for somebody who never boxed at all, and now you're boxing with a little bit of, situation against you, if I'm going to say, right?
Right.
You're able to pick up faster than a lot of people that I've had out there.
Well, I don't know. I can't speak for anybody else, but for myself with Parkinson's, it hurts your confidence.
Yeah.
Because simple things that you used to be able to do, you struggle with now. Like opening a can of soda, I sometimes struggle with that. It's simple things that you just find very frustrating, and it gets to you. But when I go to boxing, and since you treat me like everybody else, I don't feel like I have a disease. I know I have a disease, but I don't feel like the disease rules my life.
Yeah.
And it builds back up the confidence.
Tell us, so what else are you doing besides boxing right now to be proactive with your disease?
Unfortunately, it's getting colder, so not much. I was riding with my niece and a few friends. I'd go mountain biking, but as the weather gets colder, I don't go because it gets a little too slippery with the leaves. My wife and I do go for walks, and
what about your diet, vitamins or anything like that?
I take my medicine, and I don't have a lot of sense of taste, so
right.
I'm not a very adventurous eater because it's.
Yeah, because we make fun of that all the time anyway.
Yeah. I eat, but no, it's just I try to keep active, and now that I'm not working, I can do more stuff around the house. I'm not sitting around as much at a desk as I used to be, so I feel like it's better. I can go for a walk, I mow the lawn, I clean up the house. The more active I am.
Yeah, your routine is pretty regimented every day.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much, right?
Yeah.
You're up, you're out, you're doing what you got to do, your chores or whatever activities you're doing.
Right. I feel like it's better for me to be active than sitting at a desk. I feel like that was when I was working and I had disease, I felt like it was very detrimental to my health to just be sitting still all day long for me.
Yeah. I mean, and look, that was your career prior. Now, what do you see for you right now? What is the trigger for you mentally right now to keep you motivated, to keep pushing and to keep fighting and to keep, there's a lot of technology out there today. There's a lot of stuff coming along, medically, scientifically right now. I mean, how do you motivate yourself? Because here you're dealing with something a little different than what everyday people are dealing with in life. You have life that you're dealing with, and you have Parkinson's that you're dealing with also. So people in life sometimes, they got to motivate to keep going every day. So how do you motivate yourself every day? How do you, because I know every day for us, some people, it's not we got to pick ourselves up from our pants sometimes and say, let's go. Kick ourselves in the ass and let's go. Get up, and do it.
For myself, I don't like any special treatment.
Yeah.
So I know I have Parkinson's. Most people know I have Parkinson's, but when I'm up and about, I try to forget that I have it, so I don't get any special treatment. I don't ask for anybody treat me any differently.
Yeah.
So when I get up, I go about my day. I take my medicine on time. I go do what I need to do, whether grocery shop or mow the lawn.
Right.
And I try not to let it slow me down. I know there's limitations in what I can do, but I try to push the limitations a little bit, sometimes too much.
Yeah, but that's natural with everybody else. But talking about going about your day, you are, because anytime you've been in the gym, you're helpful. You try to find a way to help us out, do whatever it takes. Always there to lend a hand. And look, even with others in the class, you've been a great advocate because you've put people through the workout. Now, do you see yourself as somebody that can be that advocate to say, hey, listen, I've been where you are. I know what you're going through. I mean, do you see yourself as that kind of a role model?
Not really.
Yeah.
I bring people into the class because I know it helps me.
Yeah.
And I figured if it helps me, then it helps them. And I feel like, I guess it's an advocate, but I don't really feel like, you know, I just want people to have the same experience I do.
Yeah.
Or as close as they possibly can. And I know what it's like to be like this with this disease. And I see people who have it. And I think that if boxing helped me, then it can help them. I hope it helps them.
No, I mean, honestly, you're a humble guy. And, you know, people who don't know you, I know you a little differently from being around you and being in the class and, you know, Lisa and Griffin. You know, I think you're not trying to be that role model or that advocate. It just kind of comes out of you. Because when you do bring people into the class, you know, it's your heart that's out there to say, look, this has worked for me. And I think today it's easy, like you said, it's a seesaw. You either go in the hole or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
I think people need to see other people being successful. And you're what, 8 years now?
It'll be
training, right?
Training.
So, you know, you see your doctor what, twice a year, four times a year?
Twice a year.
And, you know, other than some ailments with your shoulders or, you know, physical ailments, which that's part of life. We're all dealing with that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, your progression is slowing.
Yeah, I see a chiropractor once a week, and I see a massage therapist once a week, and they both agree that, you know, my you know, stiff back or my, you know, achy shoulders are more with being 50 than Parkinson's.
Yeah.
It's more, you know, natural wear and tear, doing whatever, mowing the lawn, you know.
Yeah, it's from more like, look, I'm going through it too. I know what the feeling is. You know, it's wear and tear on your body over the years. But I mean, you're seeing them twice a year. Other than that, physically, the talk is, what is the advice of the doctors for you? Are they changing your meds? Are they changing up your diet? Are they changing up your routine a little bit? Or
we just changed my meds this past visit last week. Not much, just just moving them around and make it more comfortable throughout the day. Other than that, we stick to the routine: the chiropractor once a week, the massage therapist once a week. Not sitting as often as I can.
Right.
And I don't know if that's just me, but I don't really like sitting around. So I try to keep active.
Yeah, we're only keeping you about an hour today, so you don't got to worry.
Yeah, I have trouble sitting still.
Yeah, I know. You're an act. You know, and that's the thing. Like people see you who don't know you see you today, right? They don't know what you did 8 years ago or how you were, you know, active, moving around, and you're still active, moving around, but they don't know. They see you now as you've been diagnosed. But, I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening out there, a lot of research with Parkinson's coming up, a lot of talk with this stem cell and different procedures. Has that come up with your doctors, the talk of that? And
it has come up. We just talked about the DBS, the deep brain stimulation.
Yeah.
My neurologist, Dr. Schaefer, asked me if I had considered it at all. And I told her it's years down the line. I'm not ready to even go that route yet.
Yeah.
Because I do know there's more medication I can take, or there's other.
Why do you think tell us about the brain stimulation? Why do you think it's down the line? For those people who don't know what it is.
Well, from my understanding, they put a device in your brain with like a pacemaker under your chest that sets some sort of frequency that is supposed to activate the dopamine receptors in your brain. That's what I understand. But that's scary to me. You know, it's brain surgery, and we know a couple people who went through it, and it's like a 12-hour long surgery.
Right.
And I just don't think that's for me, not yet. I'd rather try other courses, more medicine or something else. My massage therapist, her name is Jen Ganser. She she's done a lot of research in Parkinson's, and she knows about all these other treatments that might help. I don't remember most of them right now, but they're non-invasive. They're
more holistic stuff.
They're just different than brain surgery.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that right now. But you're still out there moving around. driving, moving, and everything else. The medication that they have you on, side effects or anything that you're feeling or?
Side effects there's a long list of side effects. Some medicines seem to have certain side effects, while the other ones have counter side effects. Like one makes me tired, one doesn't make me tired. Acid reflux, not acid reflux. It's hard to narrow down which side effects I'm suffering from which medicine, but we've decided that the side effects aren't more severe than the disease. They're I can deal with them, and usually after a few weeks or so, my body adjusts to the new medicine. So it takes a little while, but it's not horribly bad. But it's not not always pleasant.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, your change of taste for food.
That's a Parkinson's thing. Apparently, people with Parkinson's lose their sense of taste, smell, and taste. But they always have chocolate. People with Parkinson's always taste chocolate, and they always want chocolate.
Yeah.
So I can't get enough chocolate.
So you're a sweets guy.
Yeah.
You're a sweets guy.
There's certain things, and it's not like I can narrow it down. Sometimes I can eat like a chicken bowl and some sort of chicken dish and taste it. Other times I can't taste it.
Yeah.
And I can't, my sense of smell is horrible.
So what are the doctors on that sense? Are they asking you for, your vitamin intake, your protein intake? Are they changing that up with you or to maintain anything?
No, they don't. They don't talk about that kind of stuff at all.
Yeah.
The only ones who do is pretty much you when you give me some advice over the years, and my wife. She wants me to try to eat more stuff, but unfortunately, vegetables have no taste, and it's horrible trying to eat something that has no taste. I don't know if you ever experienced that.
Yeah. No, I haven't. So, but maybe you could do without the vegetables, though. If you're gonna pass on something like that. But let's kind of get back to the boxing end of it, and what it has done for you and what you see now coming in. Like you said, you weren't sure of the expectation, and you were trained, and fundamentally, where, as you're training, what else do you see for you in the training aspect? What do you think can be better for you or for people with Parkinson's that can make our training and our awareness better?
Well, more often during a couple more times during the week, which also falls on me. I could go there whenever I want.
Yeah.
You and AJ, but it's just for me. It's just the availability and the repetitive. If I go there every couple of days and get the same workout as we do on a Sunday,
yeah,
it would probably be beneficial. But unfortunately, I'm not one to push myself when I'm not there. I need someone to push for me. So, and you pushed me pretty hard.
Yeah. I mean, going back, not having a boxing background, what are your thoughts of the sport? Now, you hear me and I work with other fighters and I do travel and I move, and you ask, the guys in the gym, they know you. Prior to the sport, now you're there. What are your thoughts of it?
Prior to the sport, I had no interest in boxing. My dad used to watch boxing fights, boxing matches, and I had no interest in it. Now I find it more of a, like you explained, more of an art form, or more of a science. I never realized there was so much
technical stuff to it.
Yeah, so much.
You're like everybody else, because you know what? I was talking to somebody the other day about it. People don't realize the little nuances that go into training and fighting. They just think it's two
guys beating the crap out of each other.
Yeah, two guys beating the crap out of each other. There's no rhyme or reason to what they're doing, but there's a strategy. There is a strategy to what's being done, and it's a science, and that's why it's called a sweet science. There is a structure to what it is, and not only for people with Parkinson's or whatever, boxing has become something that is helping a lot of people, because you said it gives you self-confidence. It's not easy. Whether you have Parkinson's or not, it's not easy. Now, you hit the speed bag, and it's not easy. You hit that double end bag, and it's not easy. Even when you're first starting out in that sport. So you have to kind of give yourself kudos But we're seeing a lot of different people come into our programs. We're seeing kids who have been bullied, kids who have autism or social skill issues. That when they first come in, that boxing kind of changes them a little bit if they stick with it. They get confident. They get in shape.
Right.
They start to feel good about themselves. But I see more of the future that we need more advocates with the class for Parkinson's, because I think, and we've had other people in the class, and I think it's a lot of people are a little more self-conscious when they come in and worried about.
It's intimidating. When I first started going, I was never a gym guy.
Right.
I never liked going to the gym. I was not a boxer. I only ever really mountain bike and play tennis. I was more of a lone sport kind of guy.
Yeah.
And boxing, you're on your own, but going there and seeing these guys who are been boxing for a while, and it's intimidating starting off. You're the new kid in school, and you feel them. Well, for me with Parkinson's, I feel kind of awkward to begin with. Then being in this new situation, I felt even more awkward. But as there was one time that I went there on a Friday night with you, and I almost left because I had so much anxiety of being there.
Yeah.
And you brought me in the ring, and we worked through the anxiety. And you and Simon and the other trainers there, they don't focus on what you can't do. They just focus on what you can do, and that helps a lot when they don't see you for the disease. They just see you as someone else working in box.
Yeah, well, that's to me, that's the important thing. Okay, we can't water down too much what we do. We manage personalities. Your personality is no different than some fighters. Fighters get anxiety. They have other issues going on also, mentally, physically. We manage personalities, right? So it's easy for you to walk out the door. That's the easy part. You can say, I'll see you later. But let's try to work through this. Let's try to manage it somewhere. But the other part is you're no different than anybody else walking into a boxing gym. Everything you're talking about, most people who walk into a boxing gym have that same anxiety, have that same thing. They walk in and they see people who've been in that gym for longer than them, and they're intimidated. They're like self-conscious about it. But here's the deal with a boxing gym. The diversity of the people in there, you don't know who you're next to. You're treated, whether you're a pro, an amateur, an actor, a businessman, whatever the case may be, you're all treated equally. Yeah. Everybody's treated equally, and that's what makes boxing unique. The family of boxing in a boxing gym is just the guys are there to help, the girls are there to help 99% of the time. They're a good group of people. So, you know what? They want to see you succeed. Forget the Parkinson shit. They want to see you succeed. And the fact of anybody going in the ring, whether they have Parkinson's or not, to do the training, well, it's not easy. That says something about you. And, people are not commended enough because our sport is not easy. It's not an easy sport to pick up. It's not something, we all played baseball as kids. We all hit a ball, shot a basketball, threw a ball, whatever the case may be. We did some sort of sport like that. Maybe it wasn't organized, hitting a tennis ball, okay? Riding, you're an active guy, so you had success there. So you take that success and you want to come into the gym and you want to be successful. You want to do, you want to look good. You want to be able to perform. So what you go through is a natural feeling that we have other people going through the same thing.
When I ride, I'm on my own with a couple of friends,
yeah.
And it's just a lone sport. You just ride through the woods. When I go to boxing, it's more everybody's there to help you out. Everybody's willing to help you out, whether it's put your gloves on or hold a bag or hold the pads, and they don't treat you any differently from anybody else, and that's huge. I mean, like I said before, having this disease, I often feel like there's a spotlight on me, and when I'm out, I often feel like there's a big sign over my head that says he has Parkinson's.
Yeah.
And when I go to the gym, I'm assuming everybody knows I have Parkinson's, or most people do, but they don't see me as that. They don't.
No, they see you as Randall.
Yeah. They don't take it easy on me. If someone else holds the pads for me, or another trainer's willing to stop and help me put my gloves on, I feel comfortable there.
Yeah. No. Well, listen. You've been there, and what you've done is kind of. I wish we had for people to see it, because, I brag about you all the time. But, you've worked for it. It's not like you don't work, and you worked to get there, physically and mentally to get there. Now, let me ask you this. I mean, knowing kind of what you know now, a little bit about it, do you see yourself coaching?
I've tried to, when you've been busy, I've tried to help out.
I know, and that's why I'm asking.
Coaching is a whole another.
Yeah, but something. Certain people, okay. The call to boxing comes in different ways. Okay, like my thing is this: you don't find boxing; boxing finds you. Okay, and in your case, you went to Rocksteady, looked at different programs. It wasn't for you. You came through Champs, and boxing brought you in to the right place, right? But I seen you coach. I seen you try to help other people, and I think honestly, it's something. I know it's a little different, but I think it's there. And to go back to what we were talking about before, you being an advocate for this, it's like a fighter. Okay, if a fighter comes up to you in our gym and he's a professional fighter, he says, "Hey, Randall, throw your punch like this," or "Hey, Randall, do it like this." You kind of take that with more credence than if it was maybe just one of the members coming up, right? Because you say he's a professional, right? Well,
right.
Yeah. And he's walked the walk. You are walking the walk right now. So, like, for me, if you went up to somebody in the class and I said, "Hey, Randall's helping us today, been with us, watch what he does, because he's done it, and he's doing it still," I think people could kind of be motivated from that. And I know that's not your style. You're a humble, low-key guy, but I think people could be motivated from that.
Well, if someone needs help, I try to help them out.
Yeah.
If you're busy or whatever's going on, I want them to feel comfortable, like I feel comfortable there.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I can help, facilitate that, then that's what I do.
Yeah.
But I don't seek it out.
You're not see. It's you. It's the nature that you are. But back to the fact is that when people see things, when people see other people doing things, and they say, "Man, I can do that. Look, he's doing." That's motivation. Like I know you don't see yourself that way, and I don't see myself that way sometimes. It's just how I coach. I don't see myself. I don't wake up and say I gotta try to motivate somebody today. It's just how my passion to coach, and I think it's in you, and it's just coming out in a different way. But back to the class, back to the gym. What, besides doing it more, what do you think some of the things are that we could be better as in working a class? Like from the student's standpoint. And look, everybody, we have to look at it this way, right? You're a little more advanced than a lot of people right now, as far as skill wise.
Mm-hmm.
So look, we want to train. We want to have that same dynamic for everybody, but we might have to adapt it,
right,
and water it down a little bit. Which, what else do you see? Could be beneficial.
I think for people with Parkinson, again, I'm not an expert, but I think the moving is the best thing.
Yeah.
Moving, like when we move around the ring, I feel like it really helps. The other, when we had more people going, I feel like the more movement we get in
Yeah.
going, and the more work we do on balance, I feel like those are the hardest parts of it. At
Yeah.
least, and that's what I get the most reward out of.
Yeah.
We can throw punches all day, but I think sometimes moving and throwing punches,
Yeah.
anything that gets your coordination going is always helpful for me anyway.
When we're training, I want to get inside you for a little bit here. I want to get inside your head a little bit here. When you first came, you're a novice. You don't know anything. You never really boxed other than maybe with your brothers messing around, throwing punches, but not knowing. Now, you've been working with us there. You know the combinations. What goes through your head as far as when you're doing it? Give me that, like,
when I'm with you, it's hit the bag as hard as I can because you'll make fun of me if I don't.
Well, because I think sometimes, like, that's my push with anybody, because you can. If you couldn't, then I'll take what you can give me, but you can.
And it's also, and this kind of sounds kind of silly, but it's the sound of my gloves hitting your pads when you're holding the pads. That there's a sound that when the connection is really good, that really makes me feel like I'm doing it right.
It is. That's the sound. It's when you and people who've been in the gym know that sound. You could be across the room and hear somebody hit a pad properly, and but that's the whole thing. It's like when you hear that sound, you've done everything properly.
Right. It's gratifying.
You've turned. It's gratifying. Yeah, it's gratifying. Where do you see there's a lot of organizations out there? Where do you see, and where can they be better providing information and help? Now, I'm not going to get into it. I know what you went through, and it wasn't nice. I'm just going to leave it at that. And we've had these conversations.
Right.
You went through the process of it. Unfortunately, you were diagnosed. But our system, and you went through the process. Where do you think it could be better? With not only support out there, information, help.
There's a lot of information online, but you have to filter through it. You have to find out what works for you. I was 42 when I was diagnosed. My doctor even says I'm the youngest Parkinson's patient she has. So it's hard for me to find people with the same life experience that I have.
Right.
I tried, sport groups, but they're all older gentlemen or women. And they don't have the same, they're in their 70s or 80s. I just turned 50 last year, and there's really no one to say, this is what, you can do at 50. I've looked online, and I'm not an online guy. I'm not a big group meeting. I could try online sport group, but that's not the same. But it just feels like sometimes you're alone in this. You have family and friends and doctors, but to find someone else, even though
that's going through, like I said, we go back to what we were just talking about, a fighter, someone who's walked the walk and could talk the talk. Like, look, your family members are there to support you, but they're not going through what you going through. They don't understand totally that feeling.
Yeah, and it makes you feel isolated sometimes.
Yeah.
But
look, we got the Michael J. Fox organization, raised millions and millions of dollars out there.
Right.
Now, I don't know too much about, their structure or, what they do for the community out there. I know they do big fundraisers, and there's a lot of fundraisers out there, and there's research going on. But, when we talk, it doesn't seem like the movement, the progression at the top level with these organizations and doctors is that rapid.
I don't know either. I know that they do a lot of research, and there's a lot of, I guess, theories of what can be done to help it out.
Yeah.
But I can't, I don't chase down every possible theory.
Yeah. You're working what works with you right now. And, going back, you are a young 50. You're in good shape physically, otherwise, able to move through your day-to-day and stuff like that. The maintenance right now for you is, what do you see? Anything changing for you, or stuff that you want to do right now, or that you see yourself doing to keep yourself going?
Not really. I mean, I like to ride more. I feel like riding and boxing helps. But like I said, the weather's getting bad, and boxing just hasn't worked out recently.
There's a stationary bike on the other side of the gym. You know that,
Riding
right?
a stationary bike is boring. It's just boring. I need to be out, and I like to be in the woods.
I'll open the door. You can watch the train go by.
You need to put a TV up there to make it look like I'm in the woods.
Okay.
I like being in the woods. I like the obstacles.
You like being active. I know. You go with your niece a lot, right?
When she's free, I have some friends who go too, but everybody's busy, and I can't go when it's 95 degrees outside. It's just too hot. But I just like to. I like to be. I don't like to be not busy. So if I'm not riding or I'm not doing something, I do something around the house. To stay busy. I've reorganized our garage a few times. I drive my wife crazy with that.
Yeah.
But it's just I just need to be busy.
Yeah. Yeah. So Lisa's probably, if you did the garage, how many times she probably goes in there and stuff's changed around every other week?
She doesn't even go in there. She gives up. She just sends me in there. But it's just, she knows she works and she knows I like to stay busy. So we spend some time watching TV, but then after like one or two shows, I got to go do something else. I can't just sit there.
Yeah.
And mainly because I start to get stiff and achy from sitting for too long.
Yeah.
And I have to move around.
Yeah. Is it the medicine also, or is it just you being inactive?
It's me being active. I've never been able to sit still. As you can see, I'm sitting in my chair. I've never able to sit still. And
you're good. You're almost an hour into this thing, man. You've been good.
I'm fighting it.
You're fighting it, but that's good.
I never, and even like it got me in trouble in school because I never sat still at school.
Yeah.
I went to movies with people and they're like, I can't sit next to you anymore. You move around too much.
Yeah, you like a fidget.
Yeah.
Real quick, knowing Lisa, and she's not easy on you. She is.
She's great.
Does she help motivate you? Or do you guys?
I don't want to let her down. That's my biggest thing.
Is it let her down or let yourself down?
Well, let her down and let me down.
Yeah.
She relies on me. I rely on her. We're partners, and I don't want to.
Yeah.
I want to be there for her.
Yeah.
As much as I can. So I try to do as much as I can.
Yeah.
So she doesn't have to, because she works works at them. So.
Well, your attitude is really commendable. I mean, if I had some fighters who had an attitude like yours and a work ethic, I'd be in a pretty good spot. But I mean, going back to the same thing of being somebody out there, if you had to give somebody advice, if somebody came to you and said, Randall, I'm going through the same thing as you, what would that advice be? If you had to sit down and say, look, what would you give them?
The advice would be, to rely on your family and friends to be there for you if you need help. Find something that works for you, like boxing or whatever. If it works, and I know it doesn't work for everybody, but it works for me.
Mm-hmm.
I would encourage them to go with me at least once or twice, to experience it. I know we had people who've come and gone and didn't stick with it. I guess.
I think sometimes it goes to what you say. It's an intimidating factor. You have to remember, you just turned 50, so you were 42, 43 years old coming in. And, you just mentioned, some of the groups that you've went to, the people are a little older, so it is maybe something that's, their progression might be a little longer and more advanced.
Right.
So it is maybe challenging to them. I don't know. I can't answer that. But I can say one thing that, watching you, seeing you over the years, where other people who have been part of our group have come and gone in, different circumstances, you are, pretty even keel as far as, your symptoms and your progression, but your skill has definitely advanced. But for the mental part, how would you talk to somebody? What would be the mental advice for them? Not just the physically about boxing and helping you, but
how to deal with the disease on
yeah.
I don't know if I would have. I don't know what I could offer someone in mental advice. I know it works for me, and I
Yeah, but I think sometimes, not to cut you off. Look, these are subjects that they're tough. They're tough questions. They're tough answers of life, and I've been where you are, also on the other side, more on Lisa's side, right? So, I think you don't think of yourself this way, but what you can offer somebody, because you've had the highs and the lows. You've had them, and you're right now. You have a plan that you're working towards.
My plan is to stay as steady as even as I can, not to let it progress too much. I don't like taking medicine, so I want to take as least amount of medicine as I possibly can. I'm not crazy about having brain surgery.
Yeah.
So I will go to boxing, or I will go mountain biking. I will do almost anything I can to stop this or slow it down. I mean, I could do more. I probably should do more, but right now it seems to be working.
You got to find a balance.
Right.
We all could do more of everything. You know what? We could all diet better. We all could do this. We all could do that. But you know what? You got to find a balance that works for you.
But for me, it's just the people around me, my friends, my family, my doctors. They support me, and I know they support me.
Yeah.
But I have to just keep reminding myself that they support me, that they don't see me as anything less than I was before. That's not always easy because, most of them don't see me without medicine, so they don't see me shuffling. Some of them do.
Yeah.
But even when they do, they don't look down on me at all. And that's the huge thing for me, is that everybody I know has always been there to help me, or always wanted to help me. I just have to ask them for help. And
yeah, well, you're not that type of individual.
No.
I know you're not, and I know asking for help is tough at any level. I have the same problem also with that, but the fact comes down to this, is that, okay, you're dealing with a little adversity, just like everybody else, but to treat you any different, like, I wouldn't.
Well,
You know that. I'm not, but, I get where you're coming from with that. And I think that message that you can give to people and society, say, look, we're going to make a little adaptation here. All right? Maybe you move a little slower. Okay. Whatever the case may be, we make a little adaptation here, right here. Right. And then we'll go from there with it. But, I just don't think, part of the reason why I wanted you on the show is I want you to tell your story. Because I think your story is inspirational to other people and can help people. There's somebody there that's going to take something from what you've done, who maybe is not feeling it right now, okay, and say, you know what, I'm going to try that. Whether it's coming to us for boxing or riding a bike or hitting a tennis ball or going for a walk or getting whatever you know what, I'm going to start doing something.
I want people, I would like people to look at me and say, if he can do it, I can do it.
Listen, I love that. I definitely, I like that. And that comes into the whole thing with boxing, all right? Because, we've heard the comments. You heard in the movie with Stallone and Rocky, what his, how hard life hits and all. You've heard his speech, okay? And life hits. There's no question about it. Just like being in the ring, life hits us. And it's a matter of what you do after you get hit. Do you get up or do you stay down?
Right.
And, you're a proven fact of that. And there are some people out there, they need to see somebody to say, hey, like you said, I can do it. He's doing it, I can do it. That's the motivation right there. And that's part of the reason why I wanted you to come on here today. And And you know what? Also because, look, I take a personal interest with the people I work with, my fighters, anybody that knows me. The fact that, you know what, you are able to do the workouts, and I mean do the workouts, and look good doing them is something I'm proud of, and I know you should be proud of. But I mean, it's just like, it takes time, and you put in that work. And I think when there's others in our class and they see you, it's like, holy shit.
If someone sees me and they're like, I can do that, or I can do that better than him, I'm fine with that. I don't mind people surpassing me if someone starts after me.
No, I mean, look, I want people to see you and say, look, that's what I want to be like. I want to, because you started just like everybody else in the beginning. But that's the thing right now, and I just don't think, people don't understand the back end part of the disease, what you're going through, what you feel, your feelings, your family, your support group. There's more to it than just what they see that's happening every day that you got to deal with. And look, we're a small part of trying to be helpful, which, I'm glad to be a part. I know AJ in the gym, everybody, and I think it's just a positive message. But to put it out there, you are more of an inspiration right now, I think, to a lot of people than you realize.
I've been told that before, but I don't always.
I know you don't. Yeah, look, you're a humble guy. I get it, and I totally get it. But but going forward, I think you could be an advocate for this, especially when we get more people coming in, because we're going to reboot the class. I'd like to do it more. I don't know what the turnout or the feel-out is, but to do it more, we're going to need people like yourself who maybe can say, hey, jump in and show,
right,
what they've done, where I'm at, because lead by example, because that's the best teacher right there sometimes. But we're going to kind of finish up here because I know you're probably ready to get up out of your chair. But I'm going to ask a couple questions for you real quick that we kind of finish with a little fun here right now, and then we'll get into ending here. So everybody that comes on, I kind of close this way, right? First question is, if you were in a foxhole, who is the person that you're taking in the foxhole with you to fight with next to you? Who's that person?
Lisa.
Okay, you were right away. That's good. So I'm glad you answered that one quick like that. I'm going to give you 3 dinner guests.
Okay.
They could be dead or alive. It doesn't matter who they are. You want to have dinner with each 3 people. Who are they?
Jim Henson, Steven Spielberg, and Stan Lee. The comic book, the guy who created all the comic books, Stan Lee.
Stan Lee.
Stan Lee.
Spider-Man. Stan Lee.
Fantastic Four, X-Men.
Yeah. Wow. That's a unique group. You might be able to have dinner with all 3 of those guys at one time. They're all very creative minds.
That's what it is. I mean, they're all geniuses. In my opinion.
Well, you know what, Randall? I really appreciate you taking the time to come down here. It means a lot to me. And look, there's a lot of research with Parkinson's being done. You can hit us up at Champs Boxing. You could hit me up on Instagram or Champs Boxing on Instagram or Facebook and ask us questions. We're going to be rebooting our Parkinson's class. There is no charge. Look for the announcements. Usually we run it on Sundays, and I think that's where we're going to be back at on Sunday morning. The gym is relatively quiet. It's not a full gym. You're more than welcome to come in. You can watch. You can talk. If you have questions, hit me up on YouTube or Instagram, Coach Dave Champs Boxing. I'll be happy to answer any questions for you. If you need a workout, whatever it is, we'd be happy to help you out. And we appreciate everybody's support for Parkinson's and Parkinson's awareness. Also, thank you for all you subscribers out there that are watching. Train hard, train smart, and we'll see you again in the next round of Coach's Corner.
I'm Coach Dave. Welcome back to Coach's Corner.
Come on.